Before you get upset of this choice, let me explain why I think it is really cool. First of all, great design of first generation R8. Second is 500 horsepower and 1000 Nm of torque. Then there is manual transmission, quattro all-wheel drive, and mighty 6-liter V12 engine behind the seats. I know it is turbocharged diesel, but there isn't something else like this. And it's so powerful it can do 0 to 100 km per hour in just 4.2 seconds and reach 325 km per hour. However, Audi turned the idea of diesel R8 down, as it would have been too expensive to accommodate such an engine on place of simpler and lighter gasoline V8. Moreover, the V12 TDI would weigh 300 kilos more than R8 V8. There were few versions of this concept: Synchro, Roadster, and Nardo. All of them had a unique W12 engine and 5.6 liter of engine displacement. The Synchro featured permanent all-wheel drive system. The Roadster was obviously without the roof, but lacked front-wheel drive. These two had engine rated to 420 horsepower. The Nardo was created to break a record of highest average speed on track during 24 hours. And with as much as 600 horsepower and only 1,200 kilos of weight, it actually did it. On Nardo track, the W12 Nardo drove for 24 hours more than 7,700 kilometers, creating 325.891 kilometers per hour record. This is the concept I have never heard before, and probably you did not either. But most likely we all heard about 12-cylinder box engine it was supposed to use. It came from Subaru, called Subaru 1235, and had 3.5 liter of displacement. Originally created for F1 use with power of 608 horsepower at 12,500 rpm, the production version was about to get 450 horsepower and 10,000 rpm, significantly lower but still very impressive. Just before production start, Subaru left the project. After that, engineers came with V10 prototype, but it was already too late as there was huge competition and unfortunately this concept never made it into production. Czech company Innotech International decided to make something different than motorcycle body panels and lubricants. They wanted to build limited-run hypercar for America and Asia. The plant counted with 3 engines: 5.7-liter LS V8, another V8 with volume of 7.7 liter, and even 9.6-liter V12 by a company called Falconer. The latter was supposed to have 1000 horsepower with no forced induction. In 1995, this car even debuted on Auto Show in Brno, but they eventually turned the idea down, allegedly due to high expenses for developing production model out of the concept. The 7 Series and 6.7-liter engine. Nothing extremely special until I tell you this was V16 model which was extremely close to being mass-produced. The V16 was derived out of 5.0 V12 and was so long that the radiator had to be moved into the trunk. The 767IL wasn't impressively powerful. It had little over 400 horsepower and did not do 100 km per hour time in 6 seconds flat, but it was the first V16 BMW ever produced. We all know the Speed King Bugatti Veyron and its quad-turbo engine. But did you know the first concept was actually powered not by W16 but 18-cylinder engine? You heard that right. The cylinders were arranged into 3 rows per 6, creating volume of 6.3 liter. The angle between left and middle and right banks was 60 degrees. It was naturally aspirated, so it had only 555 horsepower and 650 Nm of torque. The 4 in the name stands for 4-wheel drive. By the way, a designer responsible for Veyron's looks is a Slovak guy called Yosef, my fellow countryman, just for your information. If you played 4 racing video game series, you have to know this car, me being included. The GT90 was fitted with 5.9 liter V12 created by utilizing two 90-degree 4.6 V8s. The engine wasn't just big, it was incredibly powerful as it had quad turbocharging system that secured power of 730 horsepower and almost 900 Nm, enough for 400 plus km per hour top speed. Imagine that the GT90 had manual gearbox, drove only rear wheels and weighted just 450 kilos. Despite being completely production ready, management did not approve the M8. They said there isn't market for this car in the time. The engine was developed out of 850 CSI's S70 V12. This brought new variant, the S70/1, able to produce 550 horsepower from 6.1 liter of engine displacement. The M8 was not just more powerful, but also lighter and faster. If you are familiar with this engine, then you know it is actually a power plant of McLaren F1, which in that time needed an engine, and BMW just provided it. When it came out, people thought it previewed a new upcoming model. Now we know it didn't, unfortunately. But if it did, there would be nothing like this on the road. Mid-mounted free rotor was designed to use E100 ethanol fuel. Thanks to that, maximum power of the engine was 450 horsepower, moving just 675 kilos heavy car. Luckily, there is a new rotary model coming soon. Looks like it is.